Hello, sports betting fans. This is Hardways Mike with SBI. It is Thursday, August 31st, the day before September. We have Labor Day weekend coming up, and I'm going to try to make this one quick today because we are in the midst of it now. NCAA Week 1 is officially started. Let's see if we have anything scored. Yeah, Wake Forest has already scored. UFC has already scored. Georgia State has already scored. So there is tons of sports betting action to be had this weekend. I'm excited to be here, excited for college football Week 1. Before we get to that, let's get to the small slate that we had in Major League Baseball today. Dodgers and Yankees had a noon game. Yankees and the Tigers had a noon game today, and the Tigers end up outlasting the Yankees. Anthony Volpe tied it up in the top of the ninth with a 3-run home run, but in the 10th inning, Zach Short hit into a fielder's choice. Kerry Carpenter scored, and that was it. 4-3, Detroit over New York. Right now, we've got Marlins Nationals. Hope you took yes run first inning. That is now 1-0 Marlins over the Nationals. And then there are only two more games left to go. The Giants and the Padres and the Braves and the Dodgers. At Braves and Dodgers, that is our series spotlight. It is a 4-game series. I misspoke earlier in the week. It is a 4-game series this week for our series spotlight. But let's look at the Giants and the Padres first. You got Jacob Eunice on the mound for the Giants, 4-3 record with a 4.09 ERA versus Pedro Avila on the mound for the Padres, 0-1 record with a 2.63 ERA. If we go over to our game board, we can see that the Padres are the favorites. This is in San Diego, minus 130 on PointsBet, DraftKings, Caesars, and BetMGM. If you want to back the Giants, you can get them at plus 116 over on FanDuel Sportsbook and BetRivers. Everywhere else has them at plus 110. So that is the only game left to go. We do have full slates on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be back later to talk those, as well as the rest of the college football Week 1. The Braves and the Dodgers, as I mentioned, is our series spotlight. So let's go ahead and dive into that right now. That game's at 9:10 p.m. It's a late game. It is in LA. Going over to our MLB Today page, we've got Lance Lynn on the mound for the Dodgers, 10-9 record with a 5.56 ERA, giving up 2.03 home runs per 9 and striking out 10.15 batters per 9. As a reminder, he is a former White Sox player, was traded over mid-season this year. The Dodgers are sitting at 83-49. They are in the top of the NL West. Versus the Braves, best record in baseball. You got Spencer Strider on the mound, another mustache man, 15-4 record. My goodness, 3.46 ERA, striking out 13.85, almost 14 batters per 9 innings. That is over almost 1.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Unbelievable. Only giving up 1 home run per 9. Braves are 87-45, as I mentioned, leading the NL East and having the best record in baseball. Let's go over to the lines. We've got the Braves, the favorites, even though it is on the road. The Braves are the favorite, and that is, of course, because Strider's on the mound. Minus 142 is the best line on DraftKings Sportsbook. Alternatively, you can get that minus 144 over on FanDuel or minus 145 on Caesars and BetMGM. If you want to back the Dodgers, you can get them at plus 125 on BetRivers and PointsBet, it looks like. So BetRivers and PointsBet have that at plus 125. The over-under in that game is over 8.5 so 8.5 is the over-under. It is shaded slightly to the over. You can get that at over 8.5 at minus 115 on MGM and BetRivers. If you want to take the under, you can get over plus money, plus 102 over on DraftKings. The run line, Dodgers plus 1.5, minus 135 on Caesar Sportsbook. Alternatively, Braves plus 117, or Braves minus 1.5 at plus 117 over on BetRivers. Let's go ahead and look at these money lines. So as I mentioned, the Braves are the favorite in this, minus 142 on DraftKings. Let's pull that up and see where that line originated from. All right, so it opened at minus 130 last night, 10:35, and then they got a bet a little bit and then bet all the way down up to minus 148, bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. Looks like an EKG here. And right now it's sitting at minus 142 as of an hour ago. On the opposite side, that Dodgers line of plus 116, as I had mentioned previously. Let's see, where is that line? That was a FanDuel line. Someone opened at not at nearly as much line movement, plus 114, and then it's bet up, and then it's been pretty plateaued since then. So that is where we're sitting right now. The Dodgers are the dogs in this game. Oh, excuse me, plus 125. I'm looking at the wrong game here, but yeah, plus 125 over on BetRivers And that is where that line has ended up right now. Oh, it actually has bounced up and down. So it's been pretty flat in PointsBet, but it's been bouncing up and down a little bit. It was open at 118 and then 125, then down again. And now we're sitting at 125 there for the Dodgers. So depending on who you like in that game, there is a lot of opportunity. This is a closer game than I think the books would have you believe. That over-under, I know Strider has been just striking out guys left and right, but that over looks pretty appealing. You can get it at plus money, especially when you've got guys that can hit home runs. Now, my guy, Matt Olson, he is just driving me bananas. He has not hit a home run since August 13th. But let's go over to our player props page. So we've got player props for all these guys. Let's look at the lineups here for the Braves. We know we've got, let's see here, Sean Murphy. He can hit a home run, of course. The over home runs. Let's see, 420, 425, so 425 on DraftKings is the best for him. Ronald Acuna, of course. Let's see, 350, 360 on FanDuel. Matt Olson, let's see here. 210, 250 on FanDuel. I don't know. The books still like him in a home run. If you look at the lines, he should be hitting one every 2.5 games, but he is not. So I don't know why they keep putting his line at plus 250. If you could have that at plus 300, I think that'd be a juicy line. At 250, when he's not slumping by any stretch, he's still hitting doubles. He hit a triple the other day. He's still knocking in guys, but I don't know. I just don't know where his home run, if he's wearing out or whatever it is. Let's look at the other side of the ball here. Freddie Freeman. Let's see, home runs for him, plus 450 on both BetMGM and DraftKings. No outlier there. Mookie has been just on fire this year. He is trying to make a case for the MVP. 400 on DraftKings is better than 350 on FanDuel, 375 on BetMGM. There is no shortage of home run hitters in this game tonight. So if you like somebody, take a look at the MLB Player Props page, find it, and you can certainly bet on it. But over to NCAA football, we have, let's see, what do we got? 4 games in progress. We've got 7 games left to go today. And then tomorrow we have 6 games. And then, of course, Saturday. And then we've got Sunday games, I believe. I believe we have at least one Sunday game. No, we've got 3 Sunday games, and then we have a Monday game. So we're going to close out the week with Clemson and Duke. We do have LSU and Florida State playing. Both are ranked teams, top 10. We've got Northwestern and Rutgers if you're playing that. As a reminder to our Illinois folks, if you are listening, you cannot bet on college teams in the Illinois college teams in the state of Illinois. That's the rule that they have put in place. No worry, there's no shortage of options here. So right now, Wake Forest up 7-0 over Elon. Western Michigan and St. Francis tied 0-0. UFC up 7-0 over Kent State. And then Georgia State up 7-0 over Rhode Island. We've got, let's see, in terms of the major conferences, we've got Missouri and South Dakota here. We got Nebraska and Minnesota at 7 o'clock. Of course, we've talked about this Utah and Florida game. Arizona State will be our late game tonight. I'll be staying up and watching that. Arizona State and Southern Utah. Arizona State just imposed a self-ban on bowls for this year, so who knows if they were going to make one anyway, but that's where it is. Tomorrow night, we've got Miami of Ohio versus Miami of Florida. Just looking at a couple big games. Stanford and Hawaii. Northern Illinois, let's go Huskies versus Boston College. That one is in Boston. Then we've got a ranked team, Oklahoma versus Arkansas State. Minus 35.5 is the line on that game. We've got that's Saturday. I'm not sure if we have any ranked teams playing tomorrow. Nope, doesn't look like it. No ranked teams playing tomorrow. So then we've got Saturday, week 1 starting at 11 o'clock. We will be cracking a couple of beers. We'll be eating some chicken wings. We'll be watching football all day long on Saturday because we love it. It's just everything that we live for on Saturdays in the fall. Let's look at some of these lines. Some of the lines we haven't looked at previously. Let's also look at money lines, not so much. Let's look at games that we haven't looked at. Okay, how about Temple and Akron? We kind of talked about Akron a little bit, but right now you can get Akron or Temple minus 10.5 at even money on FanDuel Sportsbook versus Akron, a MAC team, plus 10.5 minus 122 also on FanDuel. How about Texas minus 35 versus Rice? The problem is with week 1, you've got so many unbalanced or imbalanced games. I'm trying to find one here you go. Houston, UTSA. Minus or plus 2 for Houston, plus 2 to 2.5, depending on where you get it. You can get plus 2 at minus 110. You get plus 2.5 at minus 120 versus UTSA. Minus 2.5 at minus 103 on DraftKings. Minus 2 even at Caesar Sportsbook at minus 110. Let's see if we can find another one. That LSU Florida State game. I took the Florida State money line earlier today. I took that at plus 115. Caesars has boosts every day right now for college football, so I definitely use that on Florida State. If you want to look at the spread, you can get Florida State +3 at -120 over on Bet Rivers. If you don't care about that extra half point, you can get it at -110. That +2.5 at -110 over on Caesar Sportsbook. Alternatively, you can get -2.5 at -105 on FanDuel Sportsbook. And I mentioned Clemson, Duke. Clemson, big favorites, -13 over on Caesar Sportsbook. Duke +13, -110. Over-unders, there are no shortage of games on which to bet overs. There is going to be a lot of offense this weekend. Western Kentucky and South Florida, just as an example, 69.5 to 70, depending on where you are looking. Colorado State and Washington State, I am excited for that game. Cameron Ward, will see what he can do this year, 54.5 to 55.5. Hopefully he improves upon his play from last year or continues improving. And then UCLA, Coastal Carolina, I believe Ethan Garbus was named the starter for UCLA. I'm excited about that. He's a bit of a gunslinger. Not so much on the ground, but he can definitely air it out. 65.5 to 66. That is the Pac-12 coming through. As a reminder, we have our This Week in College Football. We have been talking about that nonstop because it is the most exciting tool that we have on our website, in addition to player props, which I will touch on in just a second. But you can go over and sort by conference and find exactly what you're looking for, game breakdowns, player prop analysis. We've linked that now too, detailed matchups. Let's look at this Purdue and Fresno State. I'm just going to read you quickly from the breakdown on Purdue versus Fresno State game preview. Ultimately, this game could be close, but Purdue's offense should give them the edge over Fresno State. If you believe that, you can go through and check out the stats per game, per team, advanced stats, the schedule, the lines at a glance, etc., etc. But now we are super excited to announce to you that we have NCAA football player props up on our site for subscribers, so you can go and find player props. I know that is very, very exciting. I love betting on player props, total touchdowns, rushing yards, passing yards, interceptions, receiving touchdowns, rushing yards, rushing attempts. If the books are carrying it, we are covering it. Go by game, go by breakdown, or compare the numbers across books, compare the numbers between different players in the games, etc. We've got our top player props as well. So you can go to our top player props page, and you can find, for example, I'll just go to our top player props. Brennan Armstrong, over 199.5 passing yards. Jeff Sims, over half a rushing touchdown, plus 185. You can get, Graham Mertz, Florida game tonight, under 1.5 passing touchdowns. You can get Jack Plummer for Louisville, under 0.5 rushing touchdowns. There's plenty of opportunities to be betting on in our top player props page. So go to our homepage, and then under NCAA football, we have our This Week in College Football. We've got our top player props. We've got our NCAA player props. Check it out. We think you're going to be excited. I'm excited about this right now. I am looking forward to getting in there and digging in. Well, it looks like UCF has scored. Georgia State scored. So as I mentioned, no shortage of offense here tonight and the rest of this weekend. We're going to touch on the futures for the U.S. Open very quickly. Then before I get out of here, because I've got to get off this before Nebraska and Minnesota starts. That's the game I'm going to be having on my TV. In addition, Utah and Florida. So I got two games going there tonight. Florida is not ranked. They are heading into Utah. Utah is the favorite in that. -5.5 is the spread right now, over on 48.5. But so the odds for Swiatek have dropped a little bit, plus 220 now. Sabalenka at plus 400. Coco Gauff at plus 550. And Rabakina at plus 750. In the men's, no surprise, Djokovic has now ticked into minus territory, -105 to win the U.S. Open this year. Alcaraz at staying steady at that plus 200. Sinner plus 1,000. Medvedev at 1,200. Zverev at 2,500. Fritz at 2,800. And Tiafoe there at plus 4,000. I'm not sure if we've had any upsets today. I've not been paying attention. I've been stuck on college football just all day, so I haven't looked. Let's pull that up very briefly here and see if we can find anything that might have been an upset. Let's see. Herkeraz lost. He was ranked 17 here. Cameron Norrie won. Rublev won. Yeah, I'm not sure that we have anything in terms of upsets. Well, Tsitsipas did end up losing. He was ranked 7, so Tsitsipas does not come through for us again. Bummer. That guy is killing me. On the women's side, let's see, any major upsets? Sabalenka won in straight sets. Alexandrova won in straight sets. Valina dropped a set, but then she won 2. Yeah, no major upsets here. Got some games going on, and then Jabur's playing at 6:35 tonight. So that's it. We've got tons of betting opportunities for tennis this weekend. We got NCAA football. We have baseball. We'll be back to talk more NCAA football tomorrow, as well as our series spotlight and all things sports betting. As we say over here at SBI, my name is Hardways Mike. As I mentioned before, if you have anything that you want us to see, let us know on social media. We are always looking for more opportunities, more sports to cover, and we are dropping all sorts of good nuggets there. As we say over here at SBI, you don't always have to bet, but when you do, wager wisely.